so much, Teresa. So next we have a very special guest speaker. She's a client of the Brain Injury Association, and she'll be telling us a little bit about her story. So Kathy is an example to all of us of courage and strength and resilience. In 1993, she was seriously injured in a motor vehicle accident, and she was unresponsive with a Glasgow coma score of 7. Kathy has made incredible progress in her recovery, and with the help of her friend Dr. Suzanne Defroy, she authored the book, Just Watch Me, My 30-Year Journey with Brain Injury. And Kathy and Suzanne are here today to tell us more about that, so please welcome Kathy Worotny and Dr. Suzanne Defroy.
Thank you. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
All right. I'm a traumatic brain injury survivor leading a very different yet fulfilling life after a car crash caused traumatic brain injury and brought chaos to my well-ordered and happy life. In the beginning, I had to learn how to talk, walk, read, and write. I also had to learn to control my angry outbursts. What was really frustrating was listening to the well-intended advice and simply accept my situation and that it is what it is. The reality, slide 2 please. The reality is that it's too easy to get stuck or stalled in recovery of not being able to or willing to live life to its fullest. The U.S. Center for Disease Control and Prevention has startling findings for the most severely injured who are hospitalized with traumatic brain injury. After 5 years, 22% died, 30% became worse, 22% stayed the same, and only 26% improved to lead a fulfilling life, of which I am one. Despite these dreadful predictions, the recent research is offering hopeful news about becoming empowered to move forward one step at a time. Slide 3. A group of dedicated individual healthcare professionals drew on the experience and wisdom of those living with illness to further understand the healing power of resilience. Nursing and medical health professionals have compassionately tended to my care since day one, and I appreciate their insight. Of the 7 illnesses they investigated in their study, I can relate to 4. Unexpected accident or trauma, which is my car crash, mental illness, my anxiety and sometimes depression, exacerbated episodic illness, which is asthma and bronchitis, and chronic illnesses, which is the ongoing leg and foot pain on my right side. Over 4 years, I collaborated with the writer of my story, Dr. Suzanne Defroy, and a deeper understanding unfolded about my own trials and tribulations. We reviewed multiple sources of information, including professional reports collected by my father, hospital visitor logs, personal journals, and 6 years of weekly reports written by my psychologist, Dr. Carol Franklin, and many reflections provided by those who walk beside me. We added to the research's list of elements and identified how I began to move forward. Importantly, of all emotions I had was intense anger, and being able to change the channel has been an ongoing challenge for both myself and for everyone who knows me. A turning point occurred when I resisted listening to the well-intentioned advice that it is what it is. And I began to realize that it was up to me to figure out what I could do to help myself. This step was empowering. Eventually found out that the brain is remarkably resilient and possesses the ability to heal itself by forming new neural connections through the process of neuroplasticity. The American Psychological Association cited hopeful benefits of developing resilience, saying as much as resilience involves bouncing back from difficult experiences, it can also involve profound personal growth. Surviving a traumatic event is undoubtedly complex, so improving from chronic TBI symptoms as a renewed individual is now being viewed by the medical community as a remarkable breakthrough. Dr. Albert Ing, my family doctor who has cared for me over the past 30 years, we talked about my initial resistance to accept the effects of my injuries. He noticed a shift in my attitude and said, brain injury is difficult to deal with, and there are various deficits for each person. By not accepting what has been dealt with, a person will become stuck. You have moved on because you've accepted what you are faced with, and you continue to move forward. Of all the resilient qualities, acceptance was the first step for healing to begin. It was a new reality when I heard the words that my injuries were permanent or that I'd never walk again. I became determined to find a way to improve my situation and not settle into desperate resignation. My silent mantra, just watch me, became my own brand of healing self-talk as I faced the hurdles before me. This graph illustrates elements of resilience that we identified while writing my story, including the benefits of finding a new purpose in life by volunteering. It was not easy to venture back into the world, so it's important to know that there were also setbacks. As Dr. Ing suggested, it took time to accept. It took time to accept the fearful reality of my complex and confusing situation, one step at a time. Thankfully, I did not walk alone. With my parents' faith-filled belief that something good would come of our family's tragedy, I eventually grew to discover how to improve my personal situation, and I began accepting help and encouragement from those who became a part of my circle of care. Each in their own way was a witness that supported me to overcome the many challenges and debilitating effects of trauma and brain injury. Compassionate listening and offering hope were so important to me. The reality is patience was not easy. Lawsuits and conversation with insurance companies moved forward, but sometimes at a snail's pace. And a lot of anxiety surfaced for me because I was not in clear mind. So often I lashed out at people who were just doing their job. I was fortunate because when I found BIAWE and met people who were in the same boat, I found compassionate listening that I was looking for. I also started to take advantage of their programs and volunteering opportunities, which helped me to get through the darkest of days. I also had financial help from my employer's long-term disability, CPP, the insurance company, and eventually I was given a settlement. And some of this income and resources may not be available to many people today who are diagnosed with brain injury. It is our hope that There is hope because a private member's bill called C-277 has recognized brain injury as a silent epidemic and a chronic condition. The Standing Committee on Health is developing a national strategy so that much needed support for survivors and their caregivers can be accessible. We have more information at the table inside if you are interested. In closing, there is hope knowing that inner strength can be drawn from resilience because it's already part of our human condition, influencing our behaviors, thoughts, and actions. To those who are suffering, my message is be brave. Explore your own life's experience, which has already been nurtured. It's your own life's experience has already nurtured unique, resilient qualities. Take time to discover your own personal strengths. Hope can be stirred when we take control of our own healing journey and do the necessary work so we do not become stuck. We also need to depend on others, or we may not survive. To everyone here, thank you for all that you are doing in your own unique way, for being an integral part of someone's circle of care. It's our hope that others will find inspiration from my story and find their own pathway out of despair towards a fulfilling life. This is the book cover, and we have books available outside. They're available for $20. And if you have any questions or comments, we will be outside at the table. Please come in and talk to us. And I would like to introduce Dr. Suzanne DeFroy.
She said it all.